word for?
What?
Soul.
No,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
soul.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. The symmetry is
Why?
real. Yeah.
Why is it the soul?
That's because that's what it is.
Because it's energy.
Yeah. So that milk is soul power. Yeah. So you're extracting the soul out of people.
Yeah, but then that would, if that's the definition, then just merely talking to somebody would be
Well,
soul extraction.
no, because there's an equal exchange. If I talk with you on this level right now, we are exchanging information. But if you're siphoning the information in order to attack me with it, to toss it at me and use it for archiving, and then you can just take a piece of information and like, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? Well, what about this one? We're just archiving it. That is soul wrenching. That is soul reaping, my guy. So that's evil and satanic.
I've never heard that word soul reaping.
Sorry you haven't, but I mean, maybe I think more
Where does it
deeply
come
about
from?
things
Is
than
that
you.
is that
You
is
do.
that video game? Like I know there's a video game called like Soul Reaver. You know what I mean? Is that like where you got that from? Like reaving? Is it reaving? But you
Maxine
just say
Waters, this
reaping
is
or
it's what do you call these frisbee? It's like throwing a frisbee. Like I'm throwing frisbees. That's the sound I was making. Like you're throwing a stick or a boomerang or a frisbee. Here, take this. Hey, you're just throwing frisbees at people.
why frisbees? Like what do you mean?
Nothing. I was just doing a hand gesture. Anyways, so
Okay.
could you talk a little bit more about this frisbee tossing or soul reaping or cow
Well, I
milking,
don't
if
know.
you will?
That's why I was asking you about the frisbees. Like I don't think it
how
is
does
like that.
how does milk get prepared for milking? How does the
Don't, I,
farmer
I
prepare
just
it?
think
Could you
it's
just talk
it's
about
way
how
more
does
simple
okay,
than what you think, though.
okay, so how does farmers prepare the milk or the cow for milking, or how do talk more about these things? What goes on inside there? Like what's the mood? What's the vibe? What's the everything? Just kind of talk about it. Talk us
Well,
through it.
it's from people like having like a conversation and then finding out the conversation's really one-sided, and they're usually getting accused of stuff that they're not doing, and they kind of start to pick up on that. You know what I mean? And so they start to you know like see that there's a pattern to this behavior, and once they recognize that, you know what I mean, it's very easy to extract milk.
So it's about exploiting people's fallacies or errors. So it's about
Mm,
exploitation.
it, I wouldn't call
So
it
if you find an
exploitation.
exploit, it's like, here's an exploit. Let's exploit this.
I
Let's
mean,
exploit
it
that.
could be. I guess I'd agree
So it's
with you.
about
It could
finding
be.
holes in the soul that you can exploit as a
Well, I wouldn't
group.
call it the
And you
soul. I
talk
wouldn't call
about,
it the
and
soul
so that's
like
what the
that. I'd just call it
satanic
like
ritual
no.
abuse
I'd
is
just call
about.
it like
Is
like
they're
like
looking
like
for
milk.
holes in a soul that
No,
they can not just fill
that's
it
not like
out, but they can like rip that into it and
no.
rip
It's like
into
that.
it and toss more shit into it. Or
For instance,
in a
what
different
if
way,
I
you could
what if
say
I said
extract
salt?
more of the soul
What if I said
energy.
salt then? What if I said salt?
That's also the soul. Soul. That's the soul. You're
So the soul has
extracting.
salt now too.
Well, that's salt. So salt, milk, whatever you want to call it, is still the same thing. Same symmetry. When you
Mining
apply,
salt.
so when you apply salt, that's what I'm talking about, tossing frisbees.
Hmm.
But when you're extracting milk, that's the other way around. Then you're taking the thing from the other. But no matter what, you're either applying damage to the person by tossing shit at the person, or you're milking that by extracting the soul force
Yeah,
out of the
but a
person.
lot
So
of times you don't have to.
no, listen. So
Have to
each
throw
time,
frisbees
no,
though.
listen. Each time the direction of the energy is either negative in that direction or positive in that direction. So you always, it's about emptying somebody's cup to the point where they have nothing in the cup. And then when the cup is empty, you see, well, is there drop anywhere? Is there maybe a
Yeah,
little?
but
But this is sick
like
thinking.
cows will spray
This
their
is
milk all over the place. You know what I mean? Like you
no,
can't help.
because this
They
is
can't help it.
how
They just
you're
can't help
sick.
it.
You're sick. You're in a satanic cult. You don't treat people like that.
I'm not treating people like anything. I'm just telling you. You know what I mean? That there's a behavior to it, and that's
They're
why
not
people.
cows. They're real people. That's also one of the things.
Yeah,
One
but
of the
they're
crimes you
labeled
do
as
is that
as
you
their way they react, their reactions.
Well, in your
I mean,
psychology, when you
they give a
dehumanize a
lot.
person, you allow yourself to do all kinds of inhumane things. So you actually like
Yeah, but you're putting like what I'm doing as an individual in with like a whole website that I don't even go to, like, so I don't even understand what your point is when you're talking about me, you know what I mean? Because you seem to be getting upset at me when I haven't even done anything. You know what I mean? Like, but you seem to like lump everybody together, and then you
you
make
put
this
me
big
into the
enemy.
you put
You
you
build up this like Voltron, like you build up a Voltron enemy. You put everybody all together, and then they're Voltron, except they're evil Voltron. They're against you, and they're throwing frisbees at you. You know what I mean? Like it's like people try to tell you, no, man, I'm not part of Voltron. Like, and
well,
then
they better not be because
yeah.
they all exhibit the same behavior. So I'd like to see who's gonna stop first or why, because I want to know what the fuck is up. Why do they all think they can do that? I don't want to have my soul reaped. Hey
Well, I think
yo,
you're
I want.
paranoid. You know what I
Hey,
mean? And you
well,
think
you
everybody's
gonna owe me in
reaping your
if there's
soul.
an afterlife. You're all my minions in the afterlife. You're my servants. You gotta be my
What are you
servants. You know
talking about?
why?
No,
You
man.
know why in the
No,
afterlife? You know why?
I reject that.
Because you all have taken from my soul. So you will be my
No,
servant in my next life.
no,
Yeah.
no. That's not how it works.
Hmm.
But no, I'm sorry, but that's not how it works. And I didn't take anything. Like, you know what I mean? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah,
Why you
you
think
did.
that I've
Yeah, you
taken?
did.
No, I
Yeah, you
didn't.
did.
Oh, wait, what did I take?
In the past, you haven't paid back the things that you've taken from me.
I've never taken anything from you. And you're still
No,
supposed to
because
send me
you used
an
to read
artwork.
my soul
You
in the
promised
past.
me one of your paintings. You promised me to send me an artwork or a painting or something like that. You've never sent me that.
Well, you used to reap my soul in the past.
I never did anything like that. What is laughing at something reaping your soul? Because I never did anything except for laugh at a few things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just got so crazy because, like at first I was like, you know what I mean? I was trying to just talk to you, on the level like what I'm doing now. And then eventually, you just threw me under the bus for no fucking reason. And I just get tired of, you know, your obstacle course that you'd put up, you know what I mean, to like make me explain things and stuff like that. And eventually I just gave up, like, and I think that's what happens to a lot of people. You know what I mean? I wasn't attacking you or anything like that. Just became like a futile attempt, like to.
Well, if no one's attacking me, then why is no one defending me? Why do I have no friends? Why is it that the stuff on the internet, nobody speaks my case? Nobody talks about how evil and sadistic it is. Everybody's just pretending like it's almost not even happening. And I
Well,
think
isn't
that's
that,
sick.
that's
That's
probably
sick.
better, honestly. That people are pretending nothing's happening, like, you know what I mean, like people are trying to put it behind them and stuff like that. I think that's what you want.
Sure, but I think that it's not fully over until people understand just how much misinformation, because even that is just damaging. Like,
Yeah, you
I
won't
don't,
ever drop it. That's what I mean. Like, you won't ever drop it. Like, because
that's right,
like you
because
said,
it is,
yeah,
I
you
feel
have a
like
karma
I've
that
been
you'll
very
get.
unjustified, right? Like, how would
Hmm.
you feel if do you want to
I
have a
don't know.
kiwi farm threat?
I'd
Do
probably
you
be
want to be
happy to move
unfortunate?
on. I don't care, honestly. I don't care. Like, personally, I don't care. No, nobody could put anything up about me and like make me feel any certain way about it. I would just don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. People can call me whatever they want. They can think about me whatever they want.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I
here's the
really don't
problem. The
care,
problem,
man.
yeah, I don't care that much either. But here's the thing that I do care about is that people still
Yeah.
treat me like shit as a result of other people treating me like shit in the past. But just because other people treat you like shit and they're sadistic and evil doesn't mean that the next person can be sadistic and evil, or the next person, or the next person, or the next person for that matter, or the 4,000 people coming after that. It
Hmm.
just because people and I feel like the chain needs to end. I feel like people need to understand that people are sadistic in a death cult and that they're all minions that are selling their soul to Satan because they exhibit all the same behavior and there's something wrong. Like
You, you
how
you
can I
treat
say
people
it again
bad,
and
man.
again and
Like,
again? There's
honestly,
something
you
wrong. They're wrong with
yeah.
these people. How can we miss each other so much? There's something that they are not understanding. They're engaging in misinformation. That's why they treat me wrong. That's why the communication comes out wrong. And those people that stalk me from back then and have put those things on the list and blah blah blah, they still exist and they still get away with everything. And nobody points their finger at that. It's literally a fucking death cult, right? And they're still manipulating people into doing this to me. And people are still trying to ruin my life. And nobody can admit to anything. Nobody's part of no death cult. It's not happening. It's simply not
I know,
happening.
but
People are not making
there's
me
people
stumble
who,
and fall. People are simply not treating me like shit. People are not betraying me, and it's not happening. It's just I'm just crazy, right? It's all
some
crazy, and the
people, right? You know what I mean?
17,000 threats about
Yeah.
me, that's just in my head.
I mean, some people will, right? Like you're gonna come across it. Some people who are gonna treat you bad. Like you're gonna find people who don't like you.
Certified
But when
scary guy.
people
Hey,
see what you do,
but he
though, you
hangs
throw
out. He hangs
everybody.
out with them. But apparently he's not one of them. But he hangs out with each and every one of them. And
But
he is always
you
at the
throw
center of it.
everybody
He's very
away.
close
Like
to it. Gigi Allen is always so close to the stalking. And I wonder why, because my life was fine when Gigi Allen was not in it, and then he's in it, I always have been stalked. Every time I've seen Gigi Allen's face, I've been stalked. Every time I don't hang out with Gigi Allen, my life is fine. So what is the common denominator, Gigi Allen? Why am I
I don't
always
think that's
stalked
I
when
don't think
you're in
that's
my
true.
life? Why am I
I
always
think
being
I think you're
no,
being
there's literally a
hyperbolic,
direct
man.
correlation, literally.
No, there isn't, man.
And then explain the correlation there, please.
There is no
For the world,
correlation. You're
no,
just
no correlation.
making
Okay,
it
well,
up.
I would love it if you correlation isn't causation. Okay, well, let's say like let's get even further because he hangs out with all the people that do that to me. But Gigi Allen,
Who's
he's
doing it
just
to
a
you?
saint
That's what I mean. You
amongst.
haven't even said
He's
who's
just a saint among thieves. Isn't
who's
that
doing
right?
it to you.
Yeah, you're a saint among thieves, right? Ain't that right?
Who's I don't know who you're trying
Oh,
to blame. Like,
you weren't part of that in the past, weren't you? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Hitwave?
You didn't hang out with all those people and did those
Yeah,
things to me
of
with
course I
them.
did.
Oh, okay,
We were at
well,
Bitwave. You were at
okay,
Bitwave
well,
too, though.
I'm
You
glad
were at
that
Bitwave too, and you had fun, man. Like you're looking
I
at it
didn't have fun
like
being I didn't have
yes,
fun
you did,
being
man.
tormented.
We had
No,
fun,
no,
man. Like
don't tell
you
me.
were,
No, 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 no. Do not tell
dude.
me.
We
No,
were playing
no, no. Do
those
not tell me.
quizzes and
Do
doing.
not tell me. Do not tell me that I had fun being abused. Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit. You sadistic piece of shit.
You had
You are
moments of
sadistic and you
fun.
go fuck yourself. I did not have
Oh
fun
my
being
god.
abused.
No, I'm not saying
Go
be
fuck
abused.
yourself. Go fuck
I'm not
yourself.
saying being
Go fuck
abused. I'm saying
yourself.
like
Go fuck
you
yourself.
met people that
Literally
are
go fuck
valuable to
yourself.
you.
I did not enjoy
See,
my
this is what I'm
time.
talking
I
about.
didn't
This
enjoy
is
my
what I'm talking.
time. I
Okay,
hated
well that's why you
my
don't.
life at
You
that
don't
time.
have to,
I hate my life when you're in it.
okay, but
Why is
listen,
that? I
you
hate
don't
my
have to
life when
get
you're in it.
you don't have to
I
get
do
too
hate my
upset. This is
life
what
when
I'm
you're in
talking
it. When
about
you're in
treating
my life,
people
I hate it.
bad.
And there's
You
not a
treat
correlation.
people bad,
There's a causation too because it's just you stick with those
and then
people
that's
too.
what
So there's more than a correlation.
what
You're
people.
literally part of the problem, but you can't admit to
Oh
it.
my
Now start
god,
admitting
man!
something. Admitting
This is what I'm
something.
talking about.
Admit
See,
something.
this is
Start admit
you're
something.
backing
Start admit
yourself right now. You're
because you
backing
got
yourself.
something.
You're spraying
I'm
milk
gonna keep
all over
drilling.
the place.
So we are not done
You're
until you start
I didn't. I'm
saying
not milking you.
what do you,
I'm not soul
okay.
reaping you, but you're just
Okay, well,
spraying
can we
milk
get
all
back?
over the place.
Okay, let's get back to how
You
the
know?
farming happens.
Okay, but I'm just okay. Well, let's say you just your example right there.
But
You
you
just went on a
just
big
talk, just
tirade.
no,
You
yeah,
just
but
milked
that's
yourself,
fine. But
man.
just okay, well, just talk about it for a while. Talk about how milk is prepared and how people
You just
organize
did it, man. I
stocking.
was just trying to talk to you
Talk about how
normal, and you
people
just went.
organize stocking. Talk
Yeah,
about the insights
just
of these things.
okay.
Talk, please,
Listen,
please. But that's the least you
I
could do
am.
is give us the information about
I'm trying to,
the
man.
evil and sadistic things that are.
You gotta slow
Please.
down. You gotta slow down, man.
Okay, but would you care to
You're
explain us
drowned. You're
fully?
drowned in
Because
milk,
we
man.
want information, Gigi. Could you be of value to us and tell us on the insights like a whistleblower? Tell us what's really going on in this stalking
Okay,
communities and these things.
I'll
Thank you.
tell you.
Take it away.
I'll tell you. People try to like, you know what I mean? They see you and they see how upset you get and stuff like that, and they try to like interact with you on like a human level, and then you end up like putting it all into this big group and blaming everybody for everything, and then you just get so upset that you don't listen to anything anymore, and then you just start throwing everybody under the bus, and you know Susie's bad, everybody's awful, everybody's a Satanist, everybody's soul reaping, it's just crazy, you know what I mean? Like it's nuts. And that's what I mean. Like that's the milk, man. Like, you know, and then you're just spraying it all over the place, and other people are in chat and stuff like that. They're,
You're not
you know, they
explaining
got their
anything, dude.
they got their cups out. They got their cups out. They're just catching milk that's just flying everywhere. You know.
You're not a
That's what
very
it's just that. Like it's what you want the milk to spill on the ground, or would you rather everybody have a fucking glass of milk? Because you're spraying it out like it's already left. You've already expended the energy, so to speak. You're talking about this energy. I didn't do anything to get energy out of you, man. You know what I mean? I didn't extract energy from you. You know what I'm saying? But you're like going off, like, and there's like I'm trying to calm you down. If anything, like
can't get
so.
milk from a potato. That's right.
Well,
So, but I just feel like you just took us for a ride. So obviously you don't want to be
there
honest
we go.
about it.
Now, what do you mean?
What is? Why can't
I
you
was just
just tell
completely
us
honest
about
about
what
it.
goes on in
I was
those?
just like so honest that you know what I mean. Like I don't even know, man. How much more honest can I get? Like I'm not even sure if there is any more honest than that.
In the past, how do these things operate? Could you tell us how do these stalking things operate? Like, what's so hard about the question? Why are you avoiding the question?
Well, look, dude, it's not that people are stalking you. People are just here, chilling with you, and then you take something and you just go off, and then you throw everybody under the bus, and it's just that nobody's stalking you. Nobody's like stalking you, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It's just so weird that like I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I don't really care what you do. I mean, I just I'm on the internet. You know what I mean? I'm just checking out what you're doing, and it's entertaining. That's all it is, man. Like I'm entertained by it. Just as simple as that. Like I like people, like you know what I mean? I like people with, you know, like personality issues, you know what I mean? And stuff like that are original and unique and like I get insight out of it, you know what I mean? Like I find it interesting. Like I like all those like psychological crime shows and stuff like that. So I don't know, I just find people interesting, especially the people on the fringes. Like so I find you interesting, you know what I mean? That's just as simple as it is. I'm not stalking you, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if like following somebody on the internet could be even considered stalking. Like I just don't even like I don't even get the way you put those two together. Like you want subscribers, don't you? Don't you want people following you on the internet? Like, right?
I like that.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, people aren't doing anything. Like, like the thing is, like those tomatoes, you should be doing like a big tomato sauce cooking stream or making fucking homemade salsa or something. Like, I saw your thumbnail and I was like, oh yes, he's gonna turn the fucking tomatoes into something useful. And that's what I thought by your thumbnail. You're like, I'm fucking taking those tomatoes and I'm, making tomato aid. You know what I mean? Like, so to speak, right? And like, I thought, oh yeah, right on. He's gonna make something with the tomatoes. He's gonna do something cool. He's gonna make some tomato sauce. He's gonna make some fucking salsa or something like that. It's gonna be fucking. It's gonna be like something cool. And then you're just sitting on your chair, like I literally was like, is he paused? I fucking had to like fast forward for like 2 hours. You're just sitting there with this like catatonic stare. Like it was like what the fuck, I was like, I thought you're smug with the tomatoes and some fucking cool tomato shit was going on, but you were just like fucking sad on your chair there with this fucking like look like you lost your dog or something. Like, you know, like you should be making salsa, man. You should be making tomato sauce. You should be doing something with the tomatoes. Like, get a big sauce pot, like a big sauce pot, and start boiling those down, man. Make homemade salsa, homemade tomato sauce. Like you literally have everything there to do it. All you need is some spices like oregano and pepper and some salt and shit like that, man. Like you're good to go.
Back in the Stream Me days, I lived rent free in his head via 2 or 3 hard hitting questions. The back and forth where I'd get into his head, then he couldn't account for his action. He would spurg out every time. I would laugh out really loud. Then I would go to bed and wake up and realize that he had threatened to kill himself every time. because of something
What's
I
that?
told him. Lol, that was really funny. Ha 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 ha. Hey,
Was that
Potato, I
who's
know you're the type of person who couldn't help themselves and would want to see what people are saying or post as someone who likes you.
you're
Nobody,
wild in those
no,
streamy days, though, man.
nobody likes you. And if you don't already, it's time to get in the waggle caggy. Cut your hair, shave your hobo beard, and hope some G's didn't fill up all the
Oh,
fast food
you are
jobs in
reading
your area. Good
ML4.
luck, Chomo. Oh
What are
man,
you reading?
Potato got
ML4?
real dark from the streamy days. Oh, like this was my first thought too when I saw the news, but apparently the guy who did it was 39. Kitty, Potato is 37. Someone attacked Denmark's prime minister. Oh, let it be this faggot. Haha, let it be this faggot. Oh man,
What are you doing, man?
what if you are a Potato and you have been kicked off 7 streaming platforms for violating TOS, but you still must stream?
Yeah, that's a
We're
classic.
gonna
Huh?
follow you. Totally. People are not
What are you
stalking me.
reading,
Yeah,
dude?
no,
What are you reading?
no. Yeah, you're right. People are not stalking
Are
me.
you reading Kiwi
No, yeah,
Farms, dude?
it's not a
Don't tell me,
satanic death
don't
cult
tell
at
me you're
all.
reading your Kiwi Farms, man.
Oh,
Please don't tell me
oh.
you're reading your Kiwi Farms, man.
Let's talk about the
Oh my God,
satanic
he's reading his
death
Kiwi
cult
Farms.
stalking, yeah?
Dude,
Can you get
dude,
into the
don't,
details of
don't
it, or are
read
you
your
just gonna
Kiwi.
sit there
Come
and
on,
cook all
man.
day?
Do not ever, ever read your Kiwi Farms, man. Like, just don't. Like, that's a thing that you should never do.
I don't care. It's just the first time I read it. I just want to like
Okay, well,
let's get
I
back
wouldn't
to
read it,
the
you know?
center. I mean, you were part of that, right? You were part of that and
Part of
that
what?
culture. Could you talk about the insights of that? Because you seem to be skirting really like you don't seem to want to answer the
I told
question.
you,
So let's
I
get
don't
more
go to
into
Kiwi
the
Farms anymore.
stalking and harassment and organized stalking. Could you talk a little bit about that? What's up with that? The people that organize stalking and harassment against
I
a
don't know
person
what
and
to
try to
say.
gaslight a
Yeah.
person into a situation, and people that do that intentionally. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that people do the soul reaping. Would you like to admit
Okay.
to it? And you don't have to admit that you did it
Admit,
because you were just part of the
admit
group,
to
right?
what?
But talk about the group. Talk about it. We'd
What,
love to
Danish
hear
police?
more about. We are all interested in
Danish police was fun, man.
how
And
does it work?
it
How
was
was it in the
wholesome. Danish
past?
police was wholesome. It was fun. Arizona was cool, man. I miss Alex. You know what I mean? And
So you used to hang out with everybody else who also used to stalk, right? I used to think that
they weren't stalking
it
you,
was
so to speak.
hella
They were having
funny.
fun on
It's
the
hella
internet. They were having,
oh yeah,
and yeah,
right? Fun
I'm
stalking a
telling you,
person.
dude. Like it's
Oh,
not what you think. And that
that's
was in a
don't worry
different,
guys, it's fun to be in a death stalking cult.
dude,
It's
dude,
fun.
dude. You fucking threatened, maim or caught. Like, you know what I mean? Can't you admit that that was fucking insane? Like what you did? Like that shouldn't, you know what I mean? That doesn't involve any like type of like ire
So
or anything like
you
that.
just can't do it. No matter how many times I ask you to do it, you can't do it. Can you do it?
Do what? Do what? What do you want
Can
me
you
to
be
do?
useful in this conversation and answer any question, or do you have to project every question I ask? Guys, I keep asking the same question. Just talk about the
I'm
insights
just being honest
of the
with you,
cult.
man. Like
You can't.
I don't know.
Something
I
is
don't know what
wrong
the
with
insides of
this.
the cult.
You're wrong.
Insides of the cult is just
There's
like what
something wrong with
Bitwave
you.
was, man.
Yeah, talk
It's
about
just
it.
like what Bitwave was.
Talk about it. Talk about
It's
what's
just
on the
people
inside.
hanging out, you
Talk
know,
about what goes
fucking
on the
chilling,
inside of
doing
people that are
retarded shit.
stalking,
You know?
praying,
Every now
harassing,
and then, one
etc. Talk
person would
about
do
it.
something
Talk
stupid,
about
like
it.
Senator Hitler. Senator Hitler would
Talk about
fucking
it.
do something dumb, you know, and everybody would fucking like, you know what I mean, come down on him. Like everybody kind of had this, you know, it's like a policing itself type thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you do something or step outside of the bounds, you get called a faggot, so to speak. You know what I mean? And fucking, you know what I mean? Like you're just supposed to learn and not do that again. You know what I mean? And maybe some people get called a faggot a little more than others. You know what I mean? Right? You know, and
Some
like you're not.
people are cows and some people are
Yeah, and I
flowers,
think you're
right?
taking it the wrong way. I think you're taking it like, you know, because a lot of it is 4chan culture and stuff like that. Like it's all Chan culture and shit
Yeah.
like that. You know, about being like an edgy boy. You know what I mean? But we're all old now, man, because like this shit was like
But
the only
you
people
still
active on the
don't get
internet
to
like
get away
30
with it.
years
You
ago.
like hey,
What do you mean?
you did those things.
I did what? What did I do? I laughed at some shit on the internet.
Now you're just minimizing the things you've done.
The Habbo Hotel. You want me to apologize for the Habbo Hotel?
You and other people have been very, very like
Pool's closed, bitch. I'm
evil,
sorry. The pool's open.
but you
I'm
minimize
sorry.
it. You're like, I had a couple of laughs on the internet. That's not
Pool's not closed
exactly.
2 days, man.
You
It's really open.
you don't even understand that you're going to hell, right?
What did I do?
You're not
Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying it's
you
stupid.
no, I
You
I
have
can I
internet
can look
bullshit,
into your
man.
soul and I can tell you that you are going to hell at this rate.
What do
You're not gonna escape hell.
well, I am going to hell. I'm sure I am,
Yeah,
man. I've done
yeah.
some
So
pretty
why
fucked
don't
up
so
shit,
why
you know
don't
what
you
I mean?
find a way to like not go to hell?
Well, I probably can't, man. I've done some horrible shit in my life.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, I mean, I, like I'm a criminal, man. Like, you know what I mean? Of course I have. Like,
Mm.
I'm not proud of a lot of the things I've done. Like,
No, certified scary guy. That's where you're actually wrong. He is actually going to hell.
well, I hope I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, I've changed my
But
ways, for
okay,
a long time.
but
But you know what
for
I
the
mean?
sake
Like,
of not for
I
the sake of
probably
not
am,
going
though.
to
You know what I
hell,
mean? Like,
yeah. So for GG Allen, for the sake of not going to hell, I would
mhm.
love it for you to just explain on the insides of these things. You don't have to implicate yourself. I'm not here to blame you. I would like it for the whole world to know the other side of that. Does that make sense? Because we've all
I
heard
don't
the
know. You're
stories
trying to
about.
get me to say a specific thing, and
No,
I don't think
I'm trying
I
to
have
kind of
anything to say or whatever. But
how does stalking start? And it can't be just me because these groups were existed before
yeah, but
me.
I don't agree with your premise.
Maybe you should talk about what were you doing before you met me? What were you doing with these groups? What were these groups doing even before they met me? Were they stalking other people? Like I talk please
Okay,
enlighten
I
us
mean,
all.
if
Like
somebody's
we want to know everything about these things.
yeah, but
And it's
listen,
very
if
interesting for
somebody's
us to know because we
entertaining,
know
if
everything
somebody,
about the other thing. We know everything. There's nothing more like so, you know.
I mean, I don't agree with your premise that it's stalking. First of all,
Okay.
you know what I
Sure.
mean,
Okay.
to
Okay.
watch
So
somebody on the
let's say
internet.
it's not stalking. It's just people didn't
Okay,
know, right? Let's give it
what
the
do you mean?
benefit of people didn't know. They just thought it was fun and games, and they didn't know that they were like that it was like a bad thing. Maybe they thought it was a good thing. Like who knows, right? So let's not focus on that. It's fine. It's not. Time has passed, as you said. It's a long time ago. So
Mhm.
you know, but you know,
When was streaming? Was that what 2016, 2007? When that was a long
yeah,
time ago
yeah.
now, huh?
It's a long time ago. So a lot of water has run under the bridge. Would you care
Hmm.
to share with us, Gigi, on all in a little bit on the inside, kind of some of the, maybe you've seen some things, or and you're like, well, maybe that wasn't right, or maybe that, and it doesn't have to be you, it could also be other people, and you don't even have to mention names. You would just
No, I'm not.
say,
I don't condone everything. You know what I mean?
right,
That's
right.
not what I'm saying.
Would you care
Like
to
I'm
share?
a pedophile, believe it or not. I know, like that's probably seems weird, but it just he was more entertaining as a little weirdo doing his like workouts in the basement, and we all knew he was a creep. Like you know what I mean? Like that wasn't hard to see. You know what I mean? And it wasn't hard to see that somebody could catfish him quite easily. But he was just more entertaining before someone put him in that box. You know what I mean? And it was easy to tell. Like he was eventually going in that box anyways. I just think it was premature. Like I think we lost like a year of like really interesting content that could have happened.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep talking. We want to hear much more. We
Um,
want to.
I don't know. That's like one of the only things I really have seen that I've really regretted. You know what I mean? Because like like I just thought it was just a real disservice to content. You know.
Right.
Mm.
I see what you're saying.
I'm sure there's others. I just can't think of them right now. That's just always the one that sticks in my mind is like a real regret.
So, what were
But I mean, it
some of
wasn't
the
me, anyways. It wasn't me, and I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm just saying it just happened, and that's just the way things turned out. Like it's not like I, had a hand in any of it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying
no, no,
it's
no,
just
no, no,
something I
no, not,
regret that it happened. Yeah.
no. I don't think there's like it's hard to really pin like individual responsibility. It's good to talk about it. So it's not like just if Gigi Olin is talking about it. He's talking about little things that somebody did over here and somebody did there and da da da. And that's what I just call it satanic ritual abuse, right? They don't know it. Like they might not even
I don't
see it that way at all.
satanic.
Like he
I
does.
don't. Yeah.
Right. So but I'm just, I'm seeing a certain pattern, and people kind of they get the same kind of mindset, and so that's what we're kind of looking for is to kind of uncover that. Like, what's the whole farming industry, if you will. The whole kiwi farming, the I call it stalking, right? But this, followage and these people, what do they talk about? How do they get, obsess over these
I think
things
you're
instead of
putting too much into it. You're building your own boogeyman. You know what I mean? Like you're building a Frankenstein. That's what I'm saying.
there's 10,000 cows though, 10,000 stalked victims, and so while they all might be not exactly perfect people, I still think that we need to get closer to uncovering something else. Otherwise, we're never gonna make progress. So would you please care for me and care for the world to share about these things so we can get closer to the full picture of
I
everything?
can't think of anything else that I could think of right off, the moment. I mean, I'm sure if I had some time to think about it, I could probably maybe come up with some more examples.
For every
You know,
cow, how many
It-
people do you think get involved in small ways or big
well,
ways or
not.
any way?
I mean, it's hard to say because there could be really great like cow-like people, and they don't ever get the
That's true, Logan.
fanfare, or you know what I mean, like for instance, Crystal Station. You know what I mean,
Oh,
like she's she's such a piece of shit, man. Like she's just such a fucking piece of shit. It's unreal, man. It's unbelievable how big of a fucking giant piece of shit that she is. Like
yeah.
I can't even begin to even like convey like how big of a fucking piece of shit this fucking that Crystal Station is, man.
So
Amen 15.
so
Yeah. No,
so
she's awful, dude.
so so
And she
so
deserves everything bad that happens to her.
right. So
Everything
so
bad.
cows
Everything bad that
cow,
happens to her.
cows generate clout on their own to some extent.
Yeah, but usually there's some payback, right? There's usually some wrong that needs to be right, and that's what a lot of the force is too, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I think with you, you know what the lore is. You know what I mean? And I think that had played into that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, whether it's deserved or not deserved. I mean, I'm not gonna make that judgment, so to
Right.
speak. You know what I mean? Like, because people have made that judgment themselves, and if they have come up with, like some answer on either side of that judgment, there's probably a justification for what they're doing, and that's probably where it lies.
But this is where I feel like it's very wrong because that perception is a fake perception. That perception is carefully crafted by people that don't have any good intentions to begin with. They want to see
Well,
decay.
no, they don't have any intentions. They don't. Yeah,
and
they
and
want
so
to.
this
They don't want to see. Like,
this is satanic in nature, right? Because there's
well, I don't
no,
think that's
it's not, if
satanic. No,
while for
there's
some
some people
people,
who call
no, no,
it
no, no, no,
justice,
listen,
man.
listen,
Some people
hear me
call
out,
that
hear me out,
justice.
listen, hear me out. So while for some people it might be about a justification, what if you
Hmm.
remove
Yeah,
that
justice.
perception and say, well, that perception is wrong to begin with, then the justification is gone, but people still do it.
Well, I mean
And
that
that's a
that
big
would be true
problem,
if you
don't you
remove
think?
that,
There's a
but
problem
I
with
don't
the
think.
integrity in that, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lack of integrity to begin with, and that
I
is a
mean, I think you're
huge
taking like
issue because the
three.
foundation then is
Yeah.
gone.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. You're taking too many Jenga blocks out, and it's just going to fall over. You don't have the story anymore. And that's the thing is when these things happen, and this stuff happens that you would consider bad or whatever. It's usually balancing. You know what I mean, with just the right amount of Jenga blocks. You know what I mean, that there is justification. You know what I mean. There's some you know like comeuppance involved. There's some like fuckery that's like a little
Logan,
edgy or a little bit outside of the bounds, but usually, it's because it's felt that it's deserved by some at least.
so I have a question for chat and everyone. Who's more wrong and who's more right in terms of, because Logan says here, so let me read this. It says it's pretty much lolcows react badly to trolling, which I agree with, whereas other streamers ignore it or hide displeasure. Also agree. Once the person shows they will react badly, they will invite more trolling, which I also agree with. And this is where I personally believe that it's kind of bad to feed into that. While it's like tempting, that temptation is dark, bad. That's a darkness that people feed into, and that's where I want to point my finger and put the blame at farmers instantly and say, hey, you there, you doing that. Even if these people are fucking retarded, they can't figure out, and I might do it too, right? Because I am,
Mm.
but that doesn't justify it. That actually makes it wrong But that's my opinion. So what do you guys think? Who's to blame? Who's wrong? Who's right in all of that? Because yeah, cows are certainly not perfect people, but could we maybe get to a point where we can acknowledge that there's a whole, it's like a tip of an iceberg, and then there's also that thing underwater, and that thing underwater, that's all the farmers right there. For every cow, there's 100 farmers, and we never talk about that, what goes
Yeah,
on
but
with
there's
those
usually
100 people. And this is what I wanted to, I wouldn't want to cringe it out of you, right? But it's like, could we talk about what's going on with these 99 people or whatever? What do they do on a daily basis? How do they arrive to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do we get to this
well,
milk, and how does
probably
this relation
95 of them
evolve,
don't
etc.,
give a
etc.?
shit. 95 of them don't give a shit, and fucking the other fucking 4 of them are the people that are interested and who archive and find interest and tell the story and are tellers of the lore, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, yeah. And
Like,
Logan
it's
Logan
not all
adds
equal.
something
It's
here
not
really
all
good. He
equal.
says the reason that doesn't work for you though is that anyone trolling, including myself, knows we're pieces of shit. So when I say it, I really it and I actually agree with that. When I say it to people, they actually need to hear that. So I'm just, and people are like, oh yes, could you please
Well,
tell me I'm shit? It's like, because they
he's
need,
right.
and for some people
Yeah,
maybe
I
they
mean, I'm
need
not
that,
saying
and maybe
I'm a great
there is
person.
a
I mean,
kind of,
I'll be a piece of shit too. I mean, that's what I mean. I could be a piece of shit. I
but
don't
does
try to
does it
hold
work,
myself
Logan?
in
I think maybe it
a good
works.
light.
Maybe people feel like
Sure,
they're cleansed by that.
sure.
They're like, oh yeah, I should be. I'm being
You know,
told I'm a
wants
piece of
what the
shit.
heart
That's
wants. You
that
know what
that's
I mean?
right.
Even
And then
fucking
they do it
pieces of
again
shit
because
want.
they want to.
Yeah,
It becomes like an addiction, right? But they will also
I
somewhat
mean,
agree with
people
me
live
when I
their
say,
life.
hey, you're
You know,
actually a piece of shit. But they will not say it. They'll just walk away, and then they come back later.
but
I'm a
you gotta
little bit
also
curious again. I want
people
to
who
have
say
another.
that they're pieces of shit usually aren't as big of a piece of shit as the people who say no, I'm not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? And they're like, those are the real pieces of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not a piece of shit. I'm fucking awesome.
there might be a
Yeah,
point to that. There might be a point to that.
yeah. Like so I mean, like that's that just shows self-deprecation. I think self-deprecation is a important a trait that people have to be well-rounded and able to take criticism.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, what do you think that can be done to foster a better society? Do you think these things are healthy? Do you think it's good? I mean, people are flawed, and they probably won't change. And by leeching on their souls, people kind of make them worse.
You
That's
could
all.
you have
So
to change.
no, well, no. Think about this, right? So what I see mostly is
Up
that
to you.
people suffer. Listen, people suffer a lot as cows, right?
Mm.
And they go down like a ladder. You look at Christian. It's a good example of how the abuse really
Yeah.
just
Well,
degrades a
you
person.
can't blame people for him fucking his mom. You know what I mean?
No, 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 no.
That's
I'm not. I'm not.
yeah.
I'm not even like. It's got nothing to do with that. Just what, like,
It
pay
does though.
attention. Listen, no, pay attention to how the person goes from one state to a lesser state, and the internet is fully responsible because they are doing it. They are
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
performing the
you're not fully
acts. They are
responsible.
tossing the stones, bro. I'm not kidding you. And that thing that you're creating is an evil thing that goes down a ladder. That is something that you and people, even if they're anonymous online, should take a personal responsibility.
I mean,
Everybody's at
like,
fault,
yeah, they
and
yeah, okay,
also a Christian is at fault. But
right,
everybody, right? Wouldn't you agree that everybody, just you
yeah,
prickle to
oh
that,
yeah, no, no, I'm
you
not
are
saying it's not. Yeah,
intertwined in that energetically. You even if you're anonymous, you never, and
I agree
nobody
with
is
that.
gonna know you did that thing, and that's not a good thing.
And people are proud of that.
You
People
never
like
want to
that.
push somebody into becoming like an animal, because if
People
you,
feel it's justified.
yeah, but we do understand, right, that if we treat people like animals, they will
Hmm.
literally behave like animals, and then we judge them for that behavior. That's sick because we are doing it. That's
I
like
don't think
punching somebody with a
like
bat and then wondering, why do they want to kill me?
it's
I
like
don't
the chicken
understand.
before
What's the
the egg type
problem?
thing.
But no one
You
forces
know
the
what I mean?
lolcows to broadcast their
Yeah,
life. That's a fact. That's also true. Great point.
right.
That true. That is true. But we could. I mean, there is room for improvement. Let's put. Can we all agree there's room for improvement in this
Oh, always.
godforsaken
There's always room for improvement,
society?
man.
There is room for improvement.
Yeah.
Not just the cows, because I agree. They're not perfect. They're not God's perfect children. But the farmers are, in my opinion, equally as shit. And
Yeah,
so
but I
the
think
only
you
way
need to
to,
forget about the farms. The farms is a bad example, man. It really is. It's not a
well,
good
it's
example.
it's the mud of society. It's the lowest part of society. And so, if anybody wants to escape from there, they also have to be that difference themselves, right? You can't
Yeah, but
continue
this
to
stuff goes
pick at
on
things.
without the farms.
Yeah, yeah. You can't continue to pick at things and then say, "Well, I didn't do nothing. I'm not part of it. I don't know." It's just not how we gotta acknowledge our own part in things and take personal accountability for the things that we put into the world. If we want cows to do that, we should also want farmers to do that. It's only fair.
Yeah, but not everybody's farmers. Like that's what I mean. This stuff goes on without farm,
No,
like
no,
the
yeah,
Kiwi farms.
no,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
like I think you're putting too much
yeah,
value in what the farms is. Like, it's
I think
not a
everyone should
valuable
take
thing.
accountability for themselves, just like cows should. I think that everyone should, and I think everyone should behave. I think
Like, there used to
it's
be a
equal.
code at the
I think it's
farms.
equal for everyone. I don't think cows should be held at a higher standard than other people. Are you crazy? You're
I mean,
insane.
it's just Josh
You're
Moon's
insane
like
if you think that. You're
fucking
insane. You're
lolly
insane. You
website.
are insane. I don't have to be a holy person. I don't have to be more holy than you or anybody else. But apparently I do.
What's this? What are you talking about?
I mean, you don't have to live under any scrutiny apparently.
Me? No, no. I mean, I would live under my
Well,
actions.
we
My
are we're gonna
actions
live in that society. If
explain
people
me.
cannot take personal accountability for it, it's obviously gonna continue. So I'm
I'm
just pointing
responsible
out
for
the
my actions.
flaws
My
within our
actions
society.
define who I am.
And yeah, Rahu, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not wrong. And so it's just it requires a certain kind of acknowledgement that we are all doing it, whether you're on one side or the other side. It's all bad. And so
I don't
that's
think
what
there's sides the way that you see it, though. I don't think like the
you're
sides
right.
that you
There's no
see
side.
it.
It's all bad.
Yeah.
Cow is
No, I
bad.
don't think it's
Farming is
bad. I
bad.
don't think that is the way to
Cow
look
is
at it.
bad. Milking is bad.
Yeah, I don't
But
think.
the
I don't
difference
think you're
the
getting
difference
it though.
between a cow and a farmer is that a cow they can't really help that their brain doesn't work properly.
I think you're
But the
getting
farmer
lost on concept
can
though.
certainly stop their farming behavior. Don't you think? It's always
Well,
possible to constantly say, yeah, you know what? I don't want to be a satanic ritual abuser. I don't want to be
what about the people who?
at the giving end
Yeah.
of abuse and sadism.
Okay, let me. I'm just gonna tell you a story about like me growing up. You know, I mean the type of shit I used to
I want to
find funny.
support people's progress. In
Okay,
5 years,
listen
when
to
I
this.
see it, your face, I want to see, oh, you're in a better place.
I was always like fucking with people in a weird sort of way. There's this weird fucking guy. We called him JFK, and he was like just a
KZ,
weirdo nerd. And
great
then there's
comment.
some other guy called Sean O'Reilly, and he was like some other fucking weirdo nerd. And I used to fucking like take the one guy's books and put them in the other guy's desk. You know what I mean? And shit like that. And I would just like do that, like keep fucking making and then eventually they had a big fucking fist fight in the hall, and it was fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And like I thought that was great. Like, but maybe that's not great. Maybe that's the bad thing. You know what I mean? I used to love doing shit like that, man. Like that was manipulation of people's like minds. You know what I mean? Like, and it was not to really hurt anybody. It was just because they were fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a toy. Like, so I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you can get what I'm putting down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I just am entertained by the psychology of how behavior is, and like emotional reaction versus
Do you think it's because
people.
do you think it's because it's something that is lacking inside of you?
Maybe it's possible. It's possible that something like that, but I just think I'm interested in it. I don't know. I just always thought it was funny to, you
But
know,
there's nothing that's like, oh wait, I'm this. Maybe they won't like this, or what if
well,
it
why would
happened
I
to
care?
you? What? Yeah,
What do you
exactly.
mean?
Why would you
I had things
care?
happen to me.
Why would you
I
care?
had things happen to me,
Right.
but I did have things happen to me.
Right. But what I see here, if I was a psychologist, I would say, well, I can spot in you there's like a lack of empathy, and this is something. This is why you like to
No, it's
study
not
other
empathy.
people, right?
It's not that.
No, no, it's fine. Many people have it's like it's one trait
I don't
of
think it's
psych.
empathy, man.
No,
It's
no,
like these people.
no, no.
I
But
don't think they deserved empathy.
what made you the god of that?
Well, God, I just like was in class with these guys and they were annoying me. Like, both of them were annoying
Okay.
to me.
So you made up a reason to make some mental
I thought it was
gymnastics,
funny. Yeah, man.
and
I thought it
then
was funny. And like it used to be funny to like get people in trouble for shit too, you know what I mean? Like to just like set people up for stuff. Like I had these stink bombs, these sulfur stink bombs, man. And I used to fucking like put them around the schools, like set them off and and like other people would always get blamed for them and shit like that. It was pretty funny.
and you didn't feel any guilt for that.
I got suspended. I got suspended in the end. Yeah, I had to
No, but
stay at home for a week.
did you feel guilt for that? Like, did you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have
No,
lied, or
no, no. I didn't feel guilty. I mean, I got suspended. You know,
yeah?
like
So suspension
yeah.
is one thing, but you never felt guilt about it. You never felt like that's your fault
Why would I feel guilty about it though? That's what I
because
mean. Like what?
you lied and you tried to frame other people, and
It was like practical
that's
jokes though. You know what I
morally,
mean?
but it's morally
I was guilty.
wrong.
Would you feel guilty if you put like saran wrap over the toilet and like somebody like sat down and tried to take your fucking shit or something like that and fucking shot and pissed all over the saran wrap and then it got all over them and stuff like that? Like,
Yeah, I would.
would you
Yeah,
find that funny or would you find
no.
that guilty? Like,
Yeah, yeah. I would feel guilty because I would know it was my fault.
guilty?
Yeah, I would feel
Yeah, but
guilty
it's not.
about.
It's a joke. It's a joke, dude. It's like a fucking bad joke. It's like a evil joke in a way. Like, you know what I mean? But it's funny. Like the people, like yeah, they're horrified in the
Evil, but
moment. They're
it's funny, right? So
like,
there
yeah, but the
now
thing
we.
is, whoever those people are, they'd laugh about it today. You know what I'm saying? Like they'd be
All
like,
right. Well,
"Oh, that
yeah. I mean,
fucking shit."
I suppose you're right.
That
It's very
fucking
harmless. It's
asshole.
it's
You know,
harmless, but it's
yeah, they'd laugh
mischievous.
about it today.
Let's just
They'd
say
laugh about it.
mischievous, right? And there's like a root of evil in that. So it's like a very tiny
Yeah,
degree of
mischievous. There you go.
mis. Right.
That's a good. Yeah, mischievous.
So and that's your fault, right? That's the bottom line is that is your fault. And so the feeling that you should
Yeah.
feel is guilt when you get caught because it's like, hey,
No.
you shouldn't do that. If somebody is upset about that, it's like, hey, you shouldn't do that because we live in a civil society because you wouldn't want that to happen to you.
Like,
You wouldn't want out of your day if you're doing something, want somebody to
I
bother
used to
you in the
laugh
middle of
though.
it.
If I get caught up in a practical joke like that, I just laugh, man. Like you know what I mean? I just laugh.
Maybe
I'd be like, "Oh,
but
you
maybe it's
fucking got
because
me."
you've done it so many times. But why do you think people feel that never do that to people? Like I don't really like do
I don't know, man. Maybe there's
like
just a lot of
practical
people
jokes
doing
on
that shit
people.
where I come from.
So it would imply that there's a certain um
I
root.
wouldn't feel guilty about it though. I mean, it's just like you got caught. You know what I mean? And everybody laughed about it when you got caught. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh,
No,
you got caught!" Ha ha ha
I,
ha. You
yeah,
know?
no, no, it's
Yeah.
okay. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't make you like a bad person per se. But I think that
Well,
I think what I could suspect if I was a psychologist, I would say, well, maybe something happened in your home when you're younger or before that that made you kind of react in this way and made you distract with these things.
I don't know. Well, I remember my dad used to tell me stories about his like him at university doing all these like I learned them from listening to my dad's fucking stupid stories.
Okay.
From like at university doing these jokes on like people in his dorm room and stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
that's where like yeah,
So
I
maybe
think
maybe
right
it's something you
the
learned from your dad, and maybe your
yeah
dad taught
probably.
you a couple of bad habits, or maybe it's just part of American culture, or maybe Canadian culture, or maybe who knows. My stepfather was also a little bit like that, and I didn't actually like that. My father, he was very honest and
I think it's
very
an older thing, like an
straightforward.
olher generation thing. You know
Right.
what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like
I've
same with
well,
hazing.
let's
Like,
just put it
did
like
you
this.
ever?
I've been in many homes, right? So I've seen many kind of
Yeah.
ways that people do things. So I've definitely seen a lot of different cultures, also many like foreign nations and
Did you
things
ever
like that. So,
experience hazing?
um, yeah, I was in a family where where the father, he was really drunk, right? He had like bad lungs because he'd been working in construction and he had grown bitter and resentful towards his own wife and family and his children, right? And he was just drinking every day and he was off from work or home from work and he was like, "Oh, well, I don't like the way this food tastes. I don't like the way this crap tastes and fuck you." Like, and one day, bro, because I was dating his
That's
daughter.
not funny though. That's not funny. Like, what's the
No, no,
humor
it's
in
not
that?
funny. It's not funny. But what's funny is, listen. is that I was dating his daughter, right? And one day, and he was talking shit like that. He was getting drunk again, right? And I'm just like, hey, motherfucker, like, why don't you actually appreciate your fucking family and say thank you
Mhm.
for something for once? Like, why don't you do that? Why don't you try? Because you're making your whole family have anxiety, and you're making them feel bad. And dude, bro, the next day I had to leave.
Mhm.
That's good. I
Yeah.
wasn't allowed in the house anymore because I could. The truth was not. And then they'd rather decide to continue to be abused rather than say, well, he's actually right. Maybe we should all. But maybe I also I come across very rash, and he is the man of the house. But I've seen families where it's not good, right? And
Mhm.
and I think alcohol was involved. It was probably the main culprit, along with the just kind of like growing bitterness and resentment towards whatever. So
You don't think
yeah,
that
he was
maybe
drunk
you
and
were
abusive, and
out of step though? Like,
his family was great, but yeah, but not much you could do, right?
yeah, you don't think you might have out of stepped your, you know,
Yeah,
like your
of course,
bounds?
of course I did, but I couldn't take it anymore, my guy. I couldn't. I had to. I didn't. I couldn't sit and watch that, dude. I couldn't. Could you? Should I sit
So
and receive that?
you want it to wreck his shit, is what you're saying. Like you
Yeah, I
want
wanted
his
to
shit
stand up
to
and say, hey, you need to treat your family right. But it's you. I guess you just shouldn't say that to a drunk person, obviously, because it's not. It doesn't really do much. But yeah. So,
yeah.
but yeah,
No, I get it.
I've
I
seen a
get it.
lot of families from. I've seen a lot of shit. So bad, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I got to take off for a bit. My dog keeps whining at the door. She's been doing that for like the past 15 minutes. I can't leave her forever like that. I got to go take care of her.
All right,
I'll be back maybe in a bit.
all right, all right, all right.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Or there we go, chat. So maybe one day or soon we can get a little bit closer to kind of these cultures and these things because it is very interesting if you could get people to open up about those things because there's a lot of things that kind of is going on in those things, and people have a different understanding of things, and it's very interesting, um, these things. So I'm just saying, the whole you I might be wrong about some things. I might over exaggerate things when I say it's a satanic cult because really it is just a bunch of people, and but they don't all of them don't always understand what is wrong about this or what is wrong about that because some of them come from homes where they have a different culture, they understand different things, and there's just a different sentiment. And so when you hear about where they come from and the challenges people have in their families, etc., etc., it's easier to understand more of this whole iceberg about how this whole thing comes to how does cows and farmers meet because obviously people that are farmers have very interesting lives, and most of them have just been kind of hiding in the dark, and but they have also many good stories to tell. You get far more of a conversation once you stop looping on the satanic cult. Right, right, right. But I think it's good to start a place, right? Because is that once they're in that space, they cling together, and so for what it's worth, they certainly find close friendships with other people that are kind of like the same like that, and that makes it, there's more to tell. Let's just say so to be continued, and there will and there's a lot more to it. So we're just uncovering, just scraping the surface with this, but there's a lot of good stuff. I gotta get some more wine. Nice, nice. Don't you have more wine? Still going? Hey, Susie, you're more funny when you're drunk. Thank you. Interesting conversation. Well spoken, Gigi. Yeah, we got him out of the woodworks. It was good. Tried to keep the conversation focused on the topic, and we managed to get squeeze a little bit out, and it was good. Good stuff. Very good. Good conversation. Yeah. What about Susie? Would you like to step up, Susie? Talk a little bit about the groups, like what's his name? You know, Kike and this and that and the things that they do and the things that they talk about and so on, so on, so on.